Hi, I'm Stan Tarrant. For decades, the fishing industry used traps to harvest salmon in the Pacific Northwest and Alaska. Now let's take a look at the history of fish traps. The Aboriginal people who dwelt along the Pacific Rim depended on salmon for food and trade. From Honshu Island in Japan to central California, the people celebrated the return of the salmon each year. They treated the first fish with great ceremony and respect, so that his spirit would advise his brothers and sisters to return as well. Throughout what is now Alaska and the west coast of North America, native people harvested these returning salmon. They used dip nets, spears, and primitive weirs or traps made by placing branches or stones across the stream bed. In Puget Sound, they used reef nets, which consisted of pairs of canoes with small nets suspended between them. The reef fishermen cut channels through the kelp to guide the fish into the nets and erected small towers from which they could spot their prey. White settlers observed the native fishing methods. Beginning in the 1880s, the experiment with the pile trap was the outgrowth of white man's methods applied to Indian experience. Techniques for building traps came from Scandinavia, from New England, and from the Canadian Maritimes, where traps or pound nets had been used for generations in the cod, herring, and salmon harvests. In Puget Sound, pile trap technology reached its zenith. Later, when Washington voters outlawed trap fishing in state waters, Puget Sound trap men and their fishing style migrated to Alaska. From southeast to western Alaska, trap fishing endured until the passage of statehood in 1958. Each trap relied on a long line of piling called the lead that extended outward from the shoreline. The pilings supported a fence of trap wire that blocked the path of the salmon. The trap itself lay to seaward. Alaska trapman Fred Gunderson gives us a fisheye view.
Well, if you come up around and go around shore, and the first thing he hit would be the lead. Well, he's not going to swim ashore, so he'll try to go around it. Well, the trap is on the outside end of it.
Old-timers say there were over 400 trap locations claimed on Puget Sound, although many were fished only during the big years when fish were abundant. Carl Goodbranson is among the last of the Puget Sound trap fishermen. Today, he maintains the pile trap model at the Semiahmoo Museum and schools tourists in the art of trap fishing.
This particular trap is a pile trap. It fishes on the flood only. And we must assume that these fish are going to the Fraser River, and we must assume that the river is in that direction, the tide is coming in this direction, and they're built directly across that tide. The fish, when they hit the lead, could go, basically, they could go either way. They could go, if they go this way, the idea of this hook is to throw them back into the lead again, where they were before. Now they're turned the other way, and they'll move up the lead quite slowly, searching all the time for an opening. When they get up to about this part, usually they'll start to spook, and they will head out this way. That's the idea of this, which is called a jigger. When they hit that, they'll follow the jigger all the way around, and when they get to the end of it, they're back where they were before. And eventually, they're going to see this 14-foot opening, and they're going to go in through it. On the next flood, they will be all against this wall because the tide is running this way. They are bucking into the tide. And they go into this tunnel. This is 4 inches across. And then they'll be in this pillar. this is the final resting place for them anyway, and this is where all the brailing takes place and where the fish end up.